as a sort of a teaching example at some point. And Jo was quite interested in a slinky spring like this, because she had one of these in her cupboard. And she said, okay, that when you get it nice and still, that obviously the gaps between the coils of the spring get smaller as it goes down. And she raised the question, well, she raised two questions really. First of all, are the gaps between the springs in a geometric progression? And she just asked the question. She also asked the question, could you predict the length of the spring using the sum to infinity for a geometric progression? And could you, do you have to count individual like coils on the spring, or could you count them in fives? Okay, so there's three questions for you to think about. Now, when we got there, she was sort of doing this, and I'd looked at the meter rule. This is my bit. This is my inspiration. Was to put a bit of paper or something in the top like this. You have to fiddle around with this bit, and then you put the meter rule inside like that, and then when it calms itself down, oops, by the way, it did work quite well when I did it first time. I probably got a bit of paper the wrong way around for the meter rule, but you might just need to steal a couple of coils at the top. There you go. And then we found it was actually quite easy, much easier to measure, because one person just stands there with a finger on the top holding it still, and you've got all your numbers inside to measure. So there you go. So I've got several springs and several meter rules.
So the first question is, where do you've got to decide whether to measure it from the same.
Yeah, I'm quite sure.
Do you want me to hold it? Or is it only the measuring one?
There's no easy answer to this one. The common ratios are not quite equal when you compare them, and do change in a consistent pattern. However, if you take the average of a reasonable number and apply the sum to infinity formula, you get quite a good answer for the length of the spring. We found it was an interesting experiment to try, partly because you don't get an exact answer, and because you have to have a bit of a discussion about what it means for something to be a GP.